Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Hey, we got some downtime today, so I decided to make another video for the channel. Today, once again, is going to be another very informative and a very good video for our trucks, okay? Today's video is going to be aimed more towards the 68 RFE bubbles out there, okay? So if you got a 2007 and a half with the 6.7 Cummins and up, there's a 90 to 95% chance you have a 68 RFE. I think, 2014 was when they came out with the ASIN 69. This will not apply to you, or if you have a 48, this does not apply. This only applies to 68 RFE fellas. But still gonna be a good video today. If you guys are here already watching it, go ahead and smash that thumbs button right now, because I'm telling you right now, you're gonna like the video. So just hit the like button, and also if you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification tap, so that way every time I upload you get notified, because once in a while I will get told I didn't even know you had a new video come out, and I'm subscribed because YouTube's weird, but it's all good in the hood, okay? So what are we doing today? Today we are going to be installing a ATS separator plate. It's an ATS separator accumulator plate for your valve body. What it is pretty much is, it is a gasket, a metal gasket that will go in between your valve body. So today we're actually gonna be taking the valve body out of the truck, so you guys will be able to see it all. It's gonna make way more sense once we get to that stage. But I can show you guys right now what we have here. And for my OG subscribers, or if you've been subscribed since earlier this year, you know I bought this because I did do an unboxing of it, and you guys knew I had this for a while, but I'm surprised nobody asked me whatever happened with this. So this right here, just like I said, is an ATS 68 RFE valve body full pressure enabled kit. Okay, what this is going to do is this is going to allow us to command up to 295 psi of line pressure for your transmission. Okay, I'm going to explain in a second why that is pertinent or relevant, but right now, as you can see, we have the gasket here. We have a metal plate here, and then underneath that one, there's another gasket. I'm not going to mess with it right now just because I'm not ready to mess with it. We also have a accumulator plate. I believe this is an accumulator plate for the valve body. Actually, it might be called something different, but ATS, for those of you that know, they're based out of Colorado, all American made, in-house R&R or R&D, research development. Excellent company. I've heard a lot of good things about ATS. This is the first ATS component I'm installing on my truck. But check this out. I mean, come on now. Detailed colored instructions. It doesn't get any better than this. You guys know how I'm very big on good instructions and color, because, you know, for example, when we did the amp steps, the pictures were in black and white, and it looked like it was typed in China. But anyways, we're gonna talk more about this when we take the valve body off and have it sit here. Right now, what I want to do is I want to show you guys what else we have, okay? Because this will require some stuff. So right now you see a bunch of stuff here. We got transmission fluid from AMSOIL, hot shot transmission additive. This is another bag of AMSOIL synthetic transmission fluid. If you did not know, 68 RFEs take ATF4 transmission fluid. So if you don't want to get the AMSOIL, you can go to your local parts store, Walmart. I've read on forums dudes running SuperTech ATF4 fluid, and it meets OEM specs, so they say they've had good success with it. Don't freak out now. Yes, I have hot shot. Okay, a buddy of mine gave me this because I told him I was about to do this job, and he was like, hey man, you should put some of this in here. Reason being is because we're dropping the pan, so we're changing the fluid as well. We're not doing a full flush. Only reason why is because my truck runs really good. My transmission is really good. I have no issues with my transmission, and it's been holding up like a boss. But there is dirt in there. I'm sure there's dirt in the cooler and stuff like that. What this is supposed to do is break down all of the dirt and sticky friction and all that crap. It's supposed to break it down and clean it. They say to add it when you change your fluid. So we're gonna do that today, add the specified amount. But you guys do know that dear to my heart is AMSOIL. AMSOIL ATF fluid is severe transmission fluid. So what that means is, long story short, you get pretty much doubled the severe service life. So I believe on the 68 RFE recommended transmission intervals are either 60,000 or 100,000 miles. I don't really remember, but you get double the life. It's 100% synthetic, really good stuff. If you guys are interested in that, information is down below in the comment or in the description section. My man Adrian can hook you up. I had to make a trip to the parts store this morning. I went to Dodge dealership, picked up a authentic pan filter, because there's two filters in the 68, a pan filter, and then you have a spin-on filter. Get this out the way. So they did not have any spin-on filters in stock. So what I did was I went to Napa, because Napa honestly is like one of the few places I trust when it comes to filters. And I'm about to talk about this in a little bit, because this is really, really informative information. When you are doing, and this is my rule of thumb, when you're doing internal work on engines, dynamic components, engines, transmissions, stick OEM, okay? Whether it's Allison brand, Power Stroke, Mopar, stick to your OEM stuff. Do not cheap out. Do not get a Fram kit, because I'm about to talk to you guys in a second right now and tell you why you do not want to get that crap, okay? First things first, over here, I bought this filter kit a long time ago, because, not this part, but the two filters. I bought this a long time ago when I was originally ordered the separator plate, because I was going to do it way back, and then I had a bunch of stuff come up. Right off the bat, okay, this filter is made in China, okay? It looks very similar to the pan filter, right? The Mopar one. When you get them side by side, there is a huge difference within these two filters. Right off the bat, when you're looking at this, the Fram filter is crap. I mean, the glue is, it looks like it's gonna fall apart the minute it heats up. You come over here to the Mopar one, it's clean, smooth plastic. The big thing, Mopar filter has, it looks like some sort of snubber slash maybe like a check valve or a relief valve, some sort. Nothing, okay? So already off the bat, this does not look right. On the other side, it says made in China. Mopar side, it doesn't say made in USA, but it does have the Chrysler stamp, and then it has, it just looks better. I mean, this right here looks cheap, okay? That's two right there. Now, when you come to the spin-on filters, if you have a two-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive transmission, they're different, okay? Your two-wheel drive filter is gonna have a shorter filter. Your four-wheel drive transmission is gonna have a taller filter. This is supposed to be a 4x4 filter, okay? When I bought this online a while ago, it said 4x4, 68 RFE. Tell me right now if that looks the same height, okay? No, it's not, it's shorter, which leads me to think either they just cheaped out for a 4x4 filter, or they put a two-wheel drive filter in it. When you come over here, this one, made, well, it's kind of blurry, but there you go, made in the USA, okay? This one, you probably can barely see it because they stamped it like an idiot. Made in Mexico. So this is crap. We're not messing with this stuff. This is exactly why I say stick to OEM, Mopar brand filters and etc. if you can. Now, this is not a Mopar filter. It's not. This is a Napa filter, but it's made in America. I was trying to get a Wix filter because the Dodge dealership was out of stock on these, and I needed one today because they wouldn't have it till tomorrow. This is a Napa filter, but by just doing that simple comparison, I know for a fact this is going to be okay. I'm not a fan of putting cheap. This right here, I mean, go over there recycling, because that's where it's going to go. Get recycled, maybe get turned into a soda can or something. I'm just really big on that. So this is a very, very important part. You guys do not want to cheap out and take the shortcut. Yes, you can get a filter, and a spin-on filter and a pan filter at the hardware or at the parts store for like 26 bucks, both of them. Don't do it, okay? Unless you get the Napa one here. If it don't say made in the USA, I ain't messing with it, okay? Especially when it comes to internals on the truck. So we got that. Tools needed for this job. You're gonna need very minimal stuff. You're gonna need an 8mm socket to take off the pan. It's 15 bolts. I highly recommend getting you a magnetic pan so you can just drop all your nuts and bolts in, or your bolts into it. Harbor Freight, it's like $1. You will need a torque wrench to torque the pan back on, and also for what we're going to be doing with the valve body, you're going to need a torque wrench, inch-pounds. So this is a Harbor Freight 20 to 200 inch-pound torque wrench, which is perfect for what we need. You're going to need a Torx 25 key to take off the pan filter, and you will also need a Torx key to take apart the valve body. You can go on Amazon, and this is where I got mine from. You can go on Amazon and get these torque key kits for super cheap, because for some reason at the stores, torque keys are like super expensive. You can get this, I think I got this on Amazon for like 10 bucks, and then I bought an even better one with more sizes and different what's the word, like 1/4 inch, 3/8 drive, different drives. There we go, different drives. Okay, so this one Amazon like 20 bucks. So highly recommend getting you guys one of those. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and take apart, or we're gonna drop the trans pan. I got the truck up to run operating speed. when I shut the truck off about 20 minutes ago, the oil temp was at like 130 degrees, which we should be fine with. I got a drain pan over here, and then I got a creeper. You guys see that? Yep, we got a creeper my wife bought me for my birthday, so I'm gonna be testing that out today. So now it's gonna be kind of hard for me to film and be underneath there at the same time because I don't have a camera mount that can get underneath there. Plus my camera's kind of expensive, so I don't really want to get it near all that oil and stuff to mess it up. So, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys can take off a transmission pan. It's 8mm socket, 15 bolts, take them all off. You will, you know, once all of them are out, the fluid will come out. So make sure you're just prepared when you take the last bolt out, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take the pan off and show you guys what it looks like once the pan is taken off, all right? So check it out, bottom of your 68 RFE, okay? So there's that, there's your pan filter, and there's your spin-on filter. Spin-on filter comes off just like an oil filter on your engine. Just spin it off. If it's tight, you can get like a wrench, an oil filter wrench on it. Pan filter, all you gotta do is take off that 125 Torx key screw, take that out, pull straight down, because there's a stout up here that goes into the bottom of the transmission or wherever. You want to pull straight down. Don't pull forward, don't pull back, just straight down. It should pop out. Now there's a seal around that stout. If the seal is in there, don't fuck with it, leave it alone. You can just put the new filter in and take off the seal. I've read a bunch of transmission dudes, and on the forum everywhere, they say it's perfectly fine as long as the seal's not like destroyed. So, you know, shine some light in there. It's perfectly fine to reuse the seal for that. There's no issues with that, because apparently it is a pain in the ass to take off, and usually it requires some sort of special tool or something like that. So this is it. So now I'm gonna let this continue to drip. What I wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys my oil pan and get your guys' opinion, okay? So this is the fluid in there. The fluid is not bad. It's red. It's not black, which is good. There's a little magnet. One second, let me reposition myself. So I did a little finger test right there to see if it was like truly good. It looks like it is. Just typical transmission dirt, I guess. Now the question I have for y'all, any of my training experts out there, this is the magnet, right? Now there's a good layer of stuff on there. Now I'm pretty sure this is normal. I don't see any. There's a little shred there. There's a tiny little piece of metal, but most of it's just like, it's sorry for you couldn't see it. Most of it's just regular. It's all mushy and stuff. I'm gonna clean this pan up. Now there was no gasket on here, no rubber gasket. It was all RTV, which I have. So I'm just gonna clean this up real good. Get a little wire brush on it just to kind of gently scuff it up. Not scuff it up, but just to get all this crap off. You have to get all this stuff off, because if you don't have a clean mating surface, it's not good for, and you're gonna have a leak pretty much, okay? Do not use any abrasive materials on the transmission mating side. Don't use a wire wheel. Just take your time. You know, if you got to use a rag with some brake cleaner and rub it in, but you don't want to be scoring or gouging into the surface of that, okay? Because once again, that can cause for leaks. So definitely, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest of this in the bowl. So we're up here inside of here. So if you're on the driver's side of the transmission, that white plug there that's unplugged is your solenoid pack connector. If you've never taken it off, or if it's never been unplugged since the truck was built, it will be kind of hard to get it out. It takes a little bit of wiggle time, but don't get frustrated. Do not pull this harness from the wires, because if you pull one of those wires out from the back of this and mess it up, it's a bad day, okay? So do not pull from the harness as much as you want to. It's gonna suck doing it, but the easiest way, or what you do, is when this is installed, you gotta slide this red tab down and then press, there's this black tab up here, press that in and slide this lever. This lever swings down, slide it down, okay? Once you do that, it's gonna be a little tricky because your parking cable is, your shift cable is gonna be in the way, but just take your time. What I recommend is before you put it back on, just get some dielectric grease or some Vaseline, or even, you know, a little bit of motor oil, only on the outside, around it. Put a little bit of it around it, so that way in the future, if you ever have to take it off, I would do dielectric grease for this one. Just put it around there so that way in the future, if you ever need to take it off, it's super easy. Because it probably took me about 15 minutes just to pull that out, okay? So we're at the point now. We took off our filters. If your spin-on filter is really tight, you can get some channel locks. And you can, I just opened it to, I got some big channel locks. I just opened it to the widest mouth. I wrapped it around there. And you can see there's a little dent on there. So this can is really soft. So when you go to squeeze it with channel locks, do not gorilla squeeze it. Just nice. What I did was get a rag, wrap the rag around the channel locks, like the teeth, and then put it on the filter, and then just take it off. Sorry. And then just take your time, slow, steady pressure, and don't squeeze it. And don't, because if you fuck that up and you can't get that off, that's a bad day, okay? Take the valve body off. It's super, super easy. There's 6 10mm bolts down here, okay? So you got 1, 2, 3. Where's the next one? 4, 5, and then 6, I think. Did I count that right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you got 6, okay? They're all on the outside. When you take the last valve body bolt off, make sure you're supporting the valve body because it can drop out. The last thing you want to do is drop your valve body, damage it, and then you got to buy a new 500, or if you're going to get a good one, $800, $900, $1,200 valve body. So make sure you're supporting it, okay? They're 10mm bolts. I'm going to go ahead and take those 6 bolts out, and we're going to drop this valve body, okay? All right, you guys, so the valve body is out, and it is on my workbench. Real quick, before you, I should have mentioned this earlier, make sure you have a dedicated space set up ready to put this on. You don't want to put this on a dirty spot, a dirty bench, because you got to remember, whatever gets on this is going back inside your transmission. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a clean workspace. You can see down here, I put lint-free rags. If you don't have lint-free rags, you can get them on Amazon, like 50 rags for they're cheap. Lint-free rags are good because they don't spread lint, hence the name. So I just finished reading through the instructions. These instructions are very, very understandable. Do not be freaked out, you guys, looking at this and you see all these screws and stuff, because we are going to be taking them out. Don't freak out. It is really not that complicated. What I went ahead and did already is I broke torque and loosened. So the first step we're going to be doing once the valve body is removed, this is obviously the valve body, we're going to be removing the solenoid pack, which is this guy right here. Now it sucks, but if you got a 2010 to 12 68 RFE, this connector on your solenoid pack is probably going to be gray. If it's gray, you're going to have to do minor drilling modifications, but in this packet ATS tells you how to perform that. It requires you using a 250,000 bit and I think 100,000 bit. So you just follow the steps for that. Just make sure you read it if you have a gray connector for your solenoid pack. Luckily mine is white. What I went ahead and did, we're going to be removing the solenoid pack, and all you got to do is loosen and take off all of these screws. Now what you don't want to do is you don't want to mix up screws. Now they're all T25 Torx keys, but they might be different lengths. So these red highlighted screws I'm going to be putting in this pan, and then the rest of them I'm going to put in this one. That way everything goes back exactly the same way. Something else that might be helpful, I got a Sharpie, but get yourself a paint marker of some sort, so that way when it's time to torque this stuff back, every time you torque one, you just put a little yellow mark on it, or put a little mark on it. That way you know you torqued it, because it can be really, really easy to mix up while torquing this, okay? So I've already loosened these up. I can spin them. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. After I take that off, I'm gonna go ahead and follow the next steps. So I'll get back with y'all once I do that. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you what we all did real quick. I mean, you saw what I did, but it helps when you can talk. So the solenoid pack is removed. After that, I removed the shift selector plate, I guess is what it's called right here. All it is this little tang. You got, let's see if I can do this. It sits like that, okay? It sits like that, and then this tang sits on top right here. all you do is remove the screw here and there, and then what I did is I put them right there. Do not mix this up because this is shorter than the rest of those, okay? So I put those there to keep them separate. So now we got this out of the way, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to remove what's called, and it says carefully remove the pin as follows. So we're gonna slide this out like such. It says carefully remove it, so I'm just gently, I'm not forcing it, okay? You just take your time, pull this pin out, just like it says in the instructions. Don't want to do nothing extra, nothing less. And we're gonna set that aside right there. This is super simple, you guys, okay? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn it over and take the rest of the screws remaining off, and that's gonna allow us to access the separator plate. Super simple, okay? Just wanted to let y'all know. So I was just reading the instructions again. So okay, check balls, here we go. So ATS tells you on the previous page you should have 7 check balls. Anyways, you should I forgot how to say, you should have 7 balls, okay, check balls. If you have 5, just like I'm saying on the 2010 to 12, you need to put the extra 2 ATS provides with this kit. You would put those 2 in the spots they tell you to. So right now you got 1, 2, 3, 4. One's in here, you just can't see it. 5, another one's in here, you can't see it because there's fluid in there. 6 right there, and then 7. So those are your 7 balls. No idea what they do, but apparently it's important that you have 7 when you do this mod. Next, what we're actually going to do is we're going to remove this stock accumulator plate, which is super thin. You guys can see how thin that is. And we're going to install this beefy, get side by side. Oh my goodness, it's like twice the thickness. This thing is solid, man. We're gonna swap this out, put that on, okay? All it is just the Torx keys. Once again, ATS provides new screws to use because apparently the lengths on these are different. Since this is thinner, you don't reuse these. Use the ones that ATS gives you, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. Alright, you guys, so I just got off the phone with ATS because in their instructions they don't say what to torque your accumulator plate to. So I gave them a call and they were super friendly customer service. 88 inch-pounds, so get you a quarter inch torque wrench would be preferred, but we're going to torque these to 88 inch-pounds, and when we're torquing it, we're going to torque from the middle out. It doesn't say to do that, but that's just how I roll, you know what I'm saying? So better safe than sorry. So we'll go ahead. You guys, so in my left hand here, I have the new upgraded we'll just say valve body plate. Okay, you can, god damn, this thing is leaking. I should have wiped it down. As you can see, that's how I do have the gasket on this one just because I don't want to remove it. But you can see, I don't know how good you can see. Oh yeah, you can see that. Look how thin. The top one is the old one, bottom is the new one. Look, oh, there it is right there. That's perfect. Look at the difference in thickness. This is what comes with a stock 68 transmission, okay? And I probably didn't mention this earlier, but this is what is causes what's called cross leaks. So pretty much the stock 68 RFE transmission is only rated up to a certain amount of power, okay? You can't get much more out of it. So what happens is that when you slam on your pedal and your transmission, it needs more pressure to apply to the clutch packs. It won't get more than 160. Today we'll be able to bump this up to about 250-ish, around that using the Minimax. So this is going to be a nice upgrade. I cannot wait to put this on. So now this is good. Accumulator plate's on. Now we're going to go ahead and get the pretty much reinstall the plate with the gasket and then go from there. You should have a nice seam all the way across. There should be no gaps. It should just super easy install, you guys. Very, very easy up front. No trickery to this. You can see here I have this Sharpie from, this is my little border I drew to let me know that those bolts are for the solenoid pack. Everything outside of it is going to be these long daddy bolts, okay? You can also refer to the images again on here, but for me it's just, I don't know. I'm weird like that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get all these bolts in. I'm gonna run them down. I'm not gonna torque them because I want to hit up on that, and then I'll get back with y'all. All right, you guys, so I went ahead and I reinstalled all of the hardware into the correct position. Once again, if you don't remember where, you're not gonna remember first of all, but for some reason if you did and then forgot, just look at the picture and it has every hole that this goes into. The best way to do it too, orientate the picture the same way it looks in the picture, set it up like that. So right now, the way this is facing in the picture is facing just like that in front of me. So that way I know you know what I'm saying? It's easier, man. Make it easier on yourself. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna run down these bolts. Now, they recommend using, what you call it? Like a manual ratchet or socket. Just because you don't want to over torque it because the torque's only 50 inch-pounds. So this is a variable speed. It's not one speed, so I can run it down safely without, you know, over exerting it. So I'm just gonna go ahead like that. As soon as it stops, I don't go again. So like that. And what you're doing is you're work from inside out. Same way when you torque it. And what I have here is my yellow paint marker. Every one I torque to 50 inch-pounds, I'm gonna put a yellow dot on it so that way I know for a fact it's torqued. Cool? As you can see, I went ahead and torqued down all of them. Clear as day, this is why you do this. Makes it so much easier. I mean, I 100% know confidently that I torqued every bolt because soon y'all saw what I did, man. I ain't gonna keep talking about it. All right, so now make sure you wipe off the yellow stuff, obviously, paint marker. You don't want that mixing with the training fluid. All right, you guys. So went ahead, everything's done, ready to get installed. I went around, you can kind of see a little bit of paint marker on there. I try to get as much of it off. You guys, so at this point, we are underneath the truck. I reinstalled the valve body onto the transmission. Really one key note, when you're installing it, make sure that, I said this, I think I mentioned this earlier, but before you put it on, make sure that shift selector lever is all the way forward. So this is the back of the truck. Make sure it should be all the way forward, I believe. Yeah, forward towards the engine. Because what's going to happen is, and you'll see it. You'll see it and know when you take it out and put it in. When if it's not lined up, it'll go in, but it's not going to be right. So what I did was I put it on, and then I went up into the truck, put the key. I didn't start it or nothing. I just turned the key forward so I can move the shift lever, and I shifted it back and forth, and what I was listening for was that distinctive clicking sound that it makes. That's telling me that it's engaged. And I went, when you shift it, it should be just like as if you were driving. So you went from park, you should be able to go down, reverse, neutral, drive, and then back up, all four. If it's in park and you pull it down and it only goes down 2 times, it's not in the right position. So that is an easy way to check, okay? Because that solenoid lever is what's making that popping. That's what the detents are. So if you're not getting those detents if you're not feeling detents, all 3 of them from park down the drive, you know you're not in the right spot. But I didn't touch the parking lever, and I just made sure that the lever was all the way forward of the engine, as if the valve body is already installed, okay? That's one key note. All right, you guys, so we're here. We're finally we're getting ready to put the transmission plate on. For you guys that did not know, I'm using Mopar's RTV recommended. Oh, you probably can't even see that. It's part number MSGF41 Bravo. That is a part number for the RTV we're using. When I went to Mopar, when I went to Dodge today, they told me this is it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a bead all the way around here. Now, take note that in the middle of the pan, if you have a stock pan, it's gonna be a divot on the inside. Okay, when you take this pan off, you need to make sure that you get real good in there and clean that out. Okay, because if you have old RTV, you're gonna have a bad seal. You want a nice seal. So I'm gonna put pretty much a bead fat enough to fill in that divot, and then I'm gonna put a bead on the outside of the circle or the outside of the hole and on the inside. Once again, this is recommended for transmission, so you don't have to worry about it melting off and destroying it. It's not gonna do that, because when I took this off, it had the black RTV on it, and it was transmission oil all over, and none of it melted, none of it was all over the place. So we're gonna go ahead and apply it now, okay? You guys, so went ahead, put RTV on. I might have went a little bit overboard with it, but whatever, it'll buff out. Pretty much the way it'll work is when I put it up against the as soon as my camera wants to focus, yeah, whatever. Pretty much as soon as I put it up against the mating surface, it's gonna spread everywhere. Now, I'm doing this because I'm just that type of person. I'm going to wait about 45 minutes to an hour before adding transmission fluid so this can cure. Will it cure in an hour? I don't know, but I'm hoping that it will. One more thing, make sure your pan is nice and spick and span clean before you put it back on. I mean, I cleaned everything. I actually used, let's see, where's it at? I can't find the bottle now, but yeah, this. I use this stuff here. Now, you guys, I know I'm an AMSOIL dude, but I'm legitimately telling you guys, AMSOIL makes some good stuff. This is by far the easiest engine degreaser I have ever purchased. I'm being 100% honest. I'm no fluff. I'm just being real. I used that to clean this, which was caked in whatever the fuck was in here, and it took me maybe 30 minutes to get this pan looking like this. I mean, I'm about ready to eat off of this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get this put on, and then we'll go from here. All right, you guys? All right, you guys. So we're gonna go ahead. Oh man, I'm super bright. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys what we did off the camera, which really wasn't much, but you know, it still counts for something. I'll get my creeper. You guys, I don't know what I've been doing up until today, but a creeper completely changed my working under the truck experience. I mean, I've had a revelation hit me, you know, you know what I'm saying? So, oh shit. All right, so we went ahead and put the oil pan on. When I say we, I mean me, but put the oil pan on oil pan, trans pan, whatever. Went ahead, put that on, torqued all of the bolts down to 105 inch-pounds. So today it is the next day. It's actually super nasty outside. It's all cloudy and stuff. Yesterday it was clear skies. So I'm gonna be pretty quick. So I did not get to finish yesterday because I had some stuff to take care of. So came out this morning, went ahead, and you guys saw me. I put, what is this? 2, 8. I put 10 quarts of transmission fluid into the transmission initially. I'm pretty positive, because when I went to put the pan on, it was not dripping no more at all. Once I took the oil filter out, a lot came out. So pretty sure I have a 16, my oil pan is 16 quarts. That one is 16 quarts. It's almost full, but it's not full yet. I want to say there's about 13, 14 quarts in there right now. So what I did was I'm gonna put 10 quarts in now. I'm also gonna go ahead and add some of this Hot Shot TSC additive. So I did the math on this one. This is a 32 fluid ounce bottle. the 68 RFE, at least for 2008, has a 17 quart capacity. So we're going to be adding 28. We're going to be adding 24. Sorry, we're going to be adding 24 ounces of this because the ratio for it is 15 quarts is 20. I'm sorry, it is 28 ounces. We're adding 28 ounces. So for 15 quarts, you add 24. For 32 quarts, you add 20. So I went right dead in the middle, between 32 and 24, and that puts us at what did I say earlier, like 28? Yeah, 28. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now, and then I'm gonna let it sit for about another 5 minutes. I just want as much oil as possible to run down into the pan, so that way when we crank her up the first time, you know, we'll be able to get an accurate reading. That's all she wrote. We good. There we go, there we go. All right, you guys, that is a wrap. So thank you guys so much. Sorry if my lens looks foggy right now. It's like humid right now. That is a wrap, you guys. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I know this video might be long. I don't know how long it's going to be when I make it, but I do know that it went well. I will be making a follow-up review video, but everything went good. So I ended up, at the end of this, I ended up adding, I did 10 quarts, 1 quart. I ended up adding 12 quarts of transmission fluid. I did have to go to the parts store and pick up, I picked up the funniest thing. There was a bottle of Castrol synthetic ATF4 transmission fluid on the clearance bin for 5 cents, like a nickel. And I like saw it and I was like, hey, is this really a nickel? And it was like, yeah, sure. And it rang up as a nickel. So I got a quart of tranny oil for a nickel, which was, never seen it before. So yeah, 12 quarts of fluid at the end of the day. It's perfect. It checked it at 130 degrees fluid temp, idling, running at the hotline. It was right in the middle between the two top little tick marks, right in the middle, which is right where I want it. No pan leaks. One more thing, you want to retorque the transmission pan bolts once you do your initial drive. So just drive around the block, get it up to operating temp, come back home, retorque the pan, because ATS did say the pan bolts can kind of, I guess, come loose a little bit. So just do a retorque on that, you're set. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor, comment down below. Comment down below and tell me what your favorite part of this video was, and also comment down below, let me know, would you do this to your 68 RFE truck, and if so, would you use my video, and did it help? Would it be helpful, informative video on how to do it? Because there's no video on YouTube showing how to truly install from start to finish a separator plate on the valve body of a 68 RFE. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, take it easy, be safe, and peace out.